Okay, so welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we've got a lot to discuss. We've got loads to discuss today. First off, we're going to talk about the Champions League, because the Champions League is back. We're back to Champions League football, and it is quite interesting because we've done the first round of draws. Also, we're going to discuss about our financial problems. Unfortunately, we still have financial problems, as is become a custom in Barcelona now. We've got players leaving, we've got players staying. We don't know if we're keeping them, if they're leaving, and we still don't know when the Camp Nou is going to be ready to host our first home match of the season. So, it's all of that to discuss in terms of our boardroom management issues. But then on the pitch, we've got our defensive issues that are still lingering. And our defense have gotten thinner. Obviously, we know that. But we still need to discuss what our defensive issues are and what our options are and what the season is looking like in terms of our defense. And then we can go on to talk about the match on Sunday against Rayo Vallecano. So yeah, sit back and relax and let's take this one after the other. But if we start off from the Champions League, what we do know is that the draws are taking place in Monaco. And I think the first round of draws, so we know the new format of the Champions League. UEFA's changed the format starting from last season, where we've got 36 teams, but we've got 4 pots, but we are in pot 1. So I think the pots have been decided and the teams that will be in those pots. Now, Barcelona is in pot 1 alongside Real Madrid. Now, obviously, we know because we're from the same league, we can't play in the group stages. So obviously, we're not playing Madrid. Not that I'd be too bothered, because obviously we smashed them last season. But obviously, I just want to focus on that pot 1 because I think that's where the most danger lies. Now, from this new format, you have to face 2 teams in every pot, but we don't know who the 2 teams are going to be. But if you look at pot 1, this means that Barcelona are in the same pot with PSG, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Inter, Chelsea, and Borussia Dortmund. Now, on paper, the weakest team I'm seeing here is actually Borussia Dortmund. So that says a lot about the pot that we're in. And now we have to face 2 of these teams. 2. Honestly, that is looking scary. It's just 2 matches, I get it. It's just 2 teams at the end of the day. But we've got loads of other teams. But it's not like the other matches or other, pods have sort of easy games as well. We could potentially face Arsenal. We could face Juventus, for example. We could face Napoli. It's not like it's all easy games. Now I know that obviously the luck can be that bad where we have to face all the strongest teams. But I'm just, that pot 1 is looking really scary. And to be fair, I think that with all of the issues, because this is then leading me into our defensive issues that we're having. Because with all of the issues that we're having in our defense, I don't see that we're ready to face any of these teams right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I feel like we've not necessarily, gotten a replacement for Inigo Martinez that we've just lost. And then we've not been able to register Gerard Martin either. Obviously, we're all hopeful that by then we'd have registered him. But at the end of the day, I imagine that this will be quite frustrating for Hansi Flick. That's the person that I feel for the most. And I feel for the players as well. Like, this is not ideal. It's not an ideal way to start the season. And I know we've sort of settled into that, we've become very comfortable with all of these issues that we have in Barcelona. And we feel like there's that story that we had last season of rising from the ashes sort of thing. But I just don't know how long we can keep riding that luck. I think at some point we need to take some accountability and we need to take some responsibility and, change certain things. I think this has become a narrative that's become very much aligned or accustomed to Barcelona. Like every season, we're always doing gymnastics and trying to move things around. Because if you look at where we are in terms of our finances and where we are in terms of our management and our transfers, so we've just extended Iñaki Peña's contract. Now, we've extended that contract till June 2029. However, he's going off on loan to Elche. We've come to an agreement with Elche that he'll go off to loan till 2026 June. Now, what this essentially means, obviously, he gets some playing time, and as well, we're able to take away some of that, load from our wage bill. But I don't really think that's significant. Obviously, this would mean that we can register Szczesny, which is a good thing because we need our backup goalkeeper. So that's a good thing. However, that's not all. We still need to register Gerard Martin. We're still not sure if we're going to be able to register Roony Bardghji because obviously La Liga refused us registering him as a Barça B player. They believe that our intention with signing him was to obviously play him as a first team player. So they're not going to let us register him as a Barça B player where we can then move him to our first team football when we need him. So they've not allowed us to do that. So that means that we still need to either have some money coming in or be able to offset some money that we're actually spending now, maybe wages or whatever. But from that, honestly, from what I'm seeing now, I don't think there's any room to offset more wages, which then brings me to the topic of Fermin Lopez. Obviously, if you're a Barcelona fan, you already know the news that's been circulating in the media in the past few days. Fermin Lopez has been offered a contract, or Barcelona have received an offer from Chelsea for Fermin Lopez. And I don't really think that the communication between the club and Fermin have been all that straightforward in the past few days. We're not really sure what we're hearing. We're hearing different information on the media, and I don't like to really pay attention to too much of that until we have something solid. However, what we do know is that Chelsea is interested, and there could be potentially other clubs as well. Now, I think the first offer was for 15 million, which is a significant amount of money if you look at the problems that we have right now as Barcelona. Now, in the current footballing climate, I don't really think that's a lot of money. But obviously, if you think about it from the perspective of what we're going through as a club right now, that could help us significantly. But at what cost? That is my fear. And I think there's been mixed feelings about this. People have had different opinions. On the one hand, we need the money. We can't register players. We need the money. And we've got a surplus. I think that we've got a surplus in terms of the midfield talent that we have available to us. So one could also argue that we've got a lot of midfielders, so we can do away with Fermin. So we've got Marc Bernard back to full fitness. We've got, obviously, Frankie de Jong. We've got Pedri. We've got Gavi. Dani Olmo is also in there. So we've got a lot of midfielders. However, I don't really think ideally, in an ideal situation, we wouldn't be entertaining this offer at all. I just think that if Chelsea offer something around 70, 80 million, which I doubt they will, but if they do, Barcelona might be very willing to do business. Now, I'm just hoping that they don't agree to do business at 50 million, because that would be, I don't know, that is just like teams are just taking advantage of Barcelona right now. If you look at the deals that we've secured, letting Iñigo Martinez go for free, to a Saudi club, that just shows you how desperate Barcelona is to offset some of our wage bill. So I'm not really happy with the news that I'm hearing about Fermin, but at the end of the day, it's mixed feelings. We don't really know at this moment what's best for the club, if you think about it from a financial and a management perspective, because the club needs to go on. So at the end of the day, we might end up losing Fermin, which is going to hurt me, but at the end of the day, what can we do? This is a situation that we found ourselves. I hope he stays. Because I really had big hopes for Fermin this season. I really felt like he was going to take his game to another level, but this is where we found ourselves. So, we'll be monitoring that situation and we'll see what happens. Okay, so if we go into the match itself, the match is away to Rayo Vallecano, and that's on Sunday, 31st of August, and it's kicking off 20:30 GMT. So do make sure you catch that wherever you are in the world. Now, I just want to start with our head-to-head record against Rayo Vallecano. I'm not really worried about that game in a sense. We've met 29 times. Barcelona have won 18, drawn 5, and we've lost just 6. We've got 3 times as many wins as losses, so you can make of that what you will. However, I do want to point out though, in the last 5 wins, Rayo Vallecano have won 2 of those in the last 3 seasons. So in the 2021-2022 season, they won, and in 2022-2023 season, they won as well. And if you look at those years, even the wins that we've had against them haven't really been, like high scoring wins. So they're a really stubborn opponent, especially at home. I just wonder if there's a bit of a reason to worry. However, I've got quite a good amount of confidence in this team. I think we always find a way to get it done. So I'm pretty confident that we should win. So if we move on to the lineup, guys, I think in goal, we already know it's going to be John Garcia starting in goal. If we move on to our defence, I think Jules Koundé is going to start this time. I think he should be 100% fit now. I think there was that rumour that he wasn't 100% fit, because I thought at first that it was a disciplinary issue, that was the reason why Eric Garcia was starting ahead of him. But I think that's been clarified in the media that he's not been 100% fit. So I'd expect him to be back in the starting lineup. I'd be really surprised if Eric Garcia starts ahead of him. But I think it's going to be Jules Koundé. It's going to be Araujo and Kubasi again in the centre of defence. And then we have Balde on the left. In midfield, however, Frankie de Jong should be back. Obviously, we know he missed that match against Levante because he had to go and be with his family. He had a second son, so congratulations to him once again. So he should be in the starting lineup alongside with Pedri. Now, here's where it gets tricky, and that's in the number 10 position. Because if you look at last match, we started Rafinha in number 10 and then Rashford on the left. And I think because of the new introduction of Rashford and, Flick is just trying to make the team a bit more dynamic. I'm not sure, I'm certain what we're going to go with. Because I think because Rayo are a bit of a stubborn opponent, Flick might want to have a bit more in the attack. So I'm suspecting that he might go with a similar lineup as to what he did against Levante. That's what I'm going for, honestly. I'm thinking Rafinha's going to start again in that number 10 position. Rashford then is going to be on the left of attack. Ferran Torres in the middle. And then Lamine Yamal obviously on the right. I could be wrong, but this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Rafinha start because he's already tried that out. Now, obviously, because of the way that the game against Levante went, it wasn't like an easy win. And so he had to take Rashford out at halftime. I think that this time around, obviously that wasn't an easy game. So we had to take Rashford out at halftime and make some changes for us to eventually come back from 2 goals down to win that match. So I think that Flick very much wants to keep trying out this new pattern to make sure that the team is able to, I think he wants to have a plan B. He wants to have a different setup in cases of matches where we need to change things up. I'm just thinking that he will want to try this out again and ensure that the team gets more accustomed to playing in this particular pattern. So I think Rafinha starts again in number 10. Rashford starts out on the left and he can, have some more playing time to be able to integrate better with the team. So I think that's what we're going to see. So that's my starting lineup. You let me know in the comments if you think differently and if you think we're going to start a different team. Do you think that Flick is going to go with a more familiar structure with Rafinha on the left and maybe Dani Olmo or Gavi in the number 10 position? Just let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, so if we move on to predictions, I'm going to predict 2-1 on the night. I don't think it's going to be like an easy match where we just, run the opposition ragged. I don't think that's going to be the case this time. I think obviously recent times have shown that it hasn't really been smooth sailing against Rayo Vallecano. So I think 2-1 is my prediction. And I'm predicting Lamine Yamal and Ferran Torres to be on the score sheet. But you let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think we might win with a more comfortable scoreline, maybe 3-0 or 4-1? Just let me know in the comment section. And so there you have it, guys. That's my preview and my breakdown of our match against Rayo Vallecano on Sunday. Do make sure you watch it, and we'll be back here after the match to do a bit of a review and breakdown and analysis of the match. Hopefully we would come out victorious on the night. And I'll also come back later today or tomorrow to talk about our Champions League draw, because by then the draw will be done. If you want to catch the draw, it's at 5 p.m. British summertime today. So yeah, do make sure that you catch that. But see you soon, guys, and Visca el Barça.